Let's rock.
Okay. All right. I am here. This is Tell the Truth Sports Radio with Gene Smith of the 1984 NCAA champion Georgetown Hoyas and UConn game. I'm gonna do Bill Raftery. Onions.
It was a great game.
Yes, with Mullins when he shot that. I knew he was gonna say that. Give me your recap of the UConn game.
Man, all I can tell you is, we talk a lot about Big East family, and definitely we are a unified force. But the way I rooted for UConn today, it was almost blasphemous. Being a Georgetown Hoya.
Yeah.
But I am a huge fan of Dan Hurley. Um, I'm sorry, I'm a huge fan of Coach Hurley.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you can edit that out. My apologies, but I'm a huge fan of Coach Hurley. Um, I, I like the way he coaches. I like the way he's established a culture at UConn. Um,
Yes.
yeah, and again, I love the way that coaching staff is united. And I say this because they don't have a. Is there a former player on this coaching staff? Is Tariq the former player?
Tariq Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a point
Okay,
guard.
so he's got a former player on the staff, which I think just creates continuity and allows your culture to maintain over decades.
And he
Um,
has my guy Mike Nardi from Villanova who played with the two-time. He was a coach of two-time national champ Jay
okay, but
Wright.
but but
So
not, but
that
now he's
culture.
not the
Okay.
UConn guy. I'm sticking with the theme here. I'm sticking with the
Okay.
theme here. Yeah, and again, I think he's just created something that, again, for an old school cat like myself,
Hmm.
it's just something that I embrace. Reed has been incredible.
Reed was big.
Um, this tournament. I mean, the dude is averaging 2015. He looks incredible. I think the point guard, and then you and I talked a little bit directly after the game. And if
Yeah.
we could have recorded that hype,
Oh,
like this would go viral.
yeah.
Um, but it's just like Embry, I think his name is. He's injured. He's playing on a bad wheel, but his backup Williams, I think it's Williams Jr. Williams, his backup has been incredible. Um, I just like watching UConn play.
You know what it is?
And
Their sets are perfect. At the
oh
end
yeah,
of the game, when they cut it to one, it was a double curl. Mullins curls, then Caravan curls, catches and shoots the three. Because you're
yeah.
thinking Mullen curls, Mullen's gonna get it. So Duke reacted. But
Dude,
then
it's like double
he
curls.
it's a double curl,
Yeah, yeah.
which is amazing.
It is so amazing. I think the way the Duke plays, but you broke it down with the X's and O's. I'm sticking with a player like the way I played back in the '80s and '90s. From the way I played for Georgetown was defense first,
Mm-hmm.
offense was not. I could play for Coach Hurley. Like
Yes.
I could get minutes there. Like he would have an appreciation for possessions, and that's what defense is all about: getting possessions. And there were so many key defensive moments, like immediately after um, uh, UConn scored before the Mullen shot. They created that turnover. I was screaming foul, foul, foul.
Yeah.
But instead, they stayed in their defensive set, created that turnover. The transition from offense to defense was clearly that's something they practiced. They practiced last second shots. The true test of a team is they were down 19, right? And
Yeah.
didn't waver from feeding Reed in the post.
Not a lick of panic. Great point.
Not a lick of panic. Waited until crucial threes started to drop. I mean, they still shot what, 4 for 20, 22 or 23 from three? Like eh,
Caravan only
you
made
know,
two threes, but they were the most important threes.
they were their most important. I mean, Mullins was 0 for 4 before he took that shot
Yes,
from
he
three.
was. Yes, he was. I did see that.
So just incredible team effort. Um, I love solo ball. So reliable, so dependable. I mean, UConn is just sneaky good on defense. Like
They are.
and just sneaky. Sneaky is the wrong word. Like, but they just do not relent, and you can see they have a game plan and they stick to it. And I'm just incredibly proud as a former player in the Big East, seeing them
Yeah.
move on. And again, my apologies to all my Georgetown brethren for
Yeah, mine too.
how
Because I
much I
consider
root for
myself a
UConn
Hoya.
tonight.
Yeah, like I told you, I have Mike Nardi on the staff, and that's my boy since ninth grade. Um, but I want to say something I love about Hurley. When he sees something that works, he goes to it. Because a lot of times teams go inside and then they'll stop, and then the guards will chuck up threes. This whole tournament, he made a concerted effort to go into read, go into read, go into read until they stop it. Even in the Michigan State game, go into read, go into read, and then when that's not there, you kick it out. Now you shoot the threes in the flow. There's a flow to their offense.
Yeah, but it's going to be this Illinois game
Oh boy,
is going to be very interesting,
yeah.
very interesting. Like you can't help but be excited about the tournament, and
Mm-hmm.
and the makeup. Like because Illinois, I've only watched them since they've been in the tournament. That's not a team that I'm going to follow.
I watched
Um,
them. I watched the Big Ten. Peja Stoyakovic's good.
they're big,
They're very big, but
and
think
they're
about this.
very international.
Think about this for a second. Look at all the four teams in the Final Four. They're
Mhm.
all big. They all go inside, and this has been the theme the last 3 years. Look at UConn with the Klingland. Look at Florida last year going big. It's better than the pros. They're better big men in the college than the pros, and they're going inside in the college
Yeah,
game and
but
in full.
but look at the international makeup of
Mm-hmm.
Illinois, fam. Like
Yeah,
I think they have six players that play a lot that all foreign.
and when they're 16 and 15, they're playing pro ball. It's different from our high school
Yes,
kids.
yes. I mean
So
the
they're ready.
NIL. Look, the portal, NIL. Like as much as there complaints about it, or people are have the conversations around it. Look, it's here to stay. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
evolve. Um, I, I just, I, I hasten to say that I like it, but you just got to roll with it. Like the games aren't going to stop being played. But I do think it definitely shines a light on all recruiting is not good recruiting,
Yes.
right? You I'm just looking at names that pop up in the portal, and you look at the journey of some of these players, and not that I agree with Calipari or I agree with Patino, but an age limit seems only
Yeah.
fair, right?
Tweak it. Tweak the system a
But
little.
but but but, but I love Calipari. You put your name in the portal, I don't want you back.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yes.
that's
Yes.
some big John stuff. Rest in peace. Like
Yes. That's
like
Big John.
yeah,
Calipari is
like
like that.
dude, like and again to me that speaks to building a culture because we lost the DMV cat to Arkansas, and I'm still
Uh,
not over that. Like Jordan Smith Jr.
yeah.
Like I think he's top five in the country. Went to Paul six, um, right in the
Yeah.
DMV, and we were I think Georgetown was on the top five, but it's like those are the kind of people I wish, or players or local cats I wish could just stay home. But I get it, I understand, and again I'm going to root for him on the strength of the DMV. But when
And
you
Duke
get
had a
coach,
DC guy.
yeah, I mean, no, UConn has a guy. Solo is from the DMV. He's from VA,
Solon from
Leesburg,
yes.
VA.
Yeah.
So it's just an incredible time to be a part of.
Oh,
Hi.
okay.
Spaghetti's gonna be ready soon. Okay. We're cooking
I love
spaghetti.
that. It's
Apologies.
live. It's live
Oh,
podcast. That's cool.
spring, spring break. We're on a snowboarding trip with the kids. Spaghetti's gonna be ready soon. But Fitch, I had to get on with you, man,
Had
and
to. And not,
share
listen, I want to
this
break something
energy.
down. I want
Yeah.
to break something down. This has been 2 years in a row that Duke choked away big leads late,
Yeah.
and it's underclassmen. They come, they go. Underclassmen, they come, they go. And now you're going against veterans. So even as great as the underclassmen are, a lot of times they kind of freeze at times. You're going against these grown teams like Houston last year and then UConn, and the trend is upperclassmen. Look how Arkansas got beat up. Look at the
Yeah.
teams that are older, but unfair. They're going to look at
No,
if
no,
you're
no. But you bring up an interesting point, and to maybe dive a little bit deeper, it might be by position, because a lot of the guards are that you spoke about. The Duke guards are younger. The Arkansas guard, the main cat, they're young. Alabama, the main cat was younger. Um, but that might be a position thing. You look at Purdue, the guy Braden Smith Senior, got the
oh
most out of. I think the most that got
oh
Purdue as far as they could go.
mm-hmm.
So I think you bring up an interesting point, but I think I'm just going to just say this: it's chemistry, it's timing, it's how you gel. These guys start playing in June, right? They start playing together, practicing together over the summer, right? As soon as this thing ends, it starts right back up again. So I guess I'm looking at you and I talked a little bit pregame where I mentioned Patino talking about his St. John's team and how they didn't have
Yes,
one argument the whole year,
you
how
could tell.
cohesive they were, how tight
Yeah,
knit they were. So I
yeah,
think it boils down to your locker room, right?
yeah.
How connected is your locker room? Because again, you look at some of these programs, and this starts with the coach, right? And then some of the programs is a little bit of mix of the coach and the player,
Mm-hmm.
player led. But listen, I don't think it's humanly possible for me to be a Duke fan, and I say that
I,
respect. I say that respectfully. I'm
Oh,
not. I'm not.
I can't after '89 in Georgetown. Remember,
Oh,
I
thank
go
you.
back
Yeah,
I disliked them after that.
yeah.
And
I
when they
can't.
fake like Chris Slayton was better than Alonzo Mourning, that lie. You saw it in the
Yeah.
NBA how that was different.
Well, I'm still over the
Don't get
fact
me
that
started.
Grant Hill even thought about going to Georgia. Grant Hill was a Georgetown fan
He's he,
before he signed with Duke.
he's a DC guy.
I mean, his dad had season tickets to the Georgetown games.
I
I
know.
think it was I don't know before obviously before he got to in the '80s sometime before he got to Duke. But this just look, man, exciting tournament. You and I got to connect more to break these things
But
down and
I want you to think about something because you played and I didn't in big time
yeah,
college. You won national championship. The pressure now that's on Shire, which is kind of unfair. But if you're a booster or you're a guy doing with NIL, and they're kind of rough, and they're like, "Hey, what am I spending my money for? I thought we were going to get national championships with Cooper Flag and Boozer. Where are
yeah,
the national championships at?"
but all programs are not created equal. The
I
thing at
understand.
Duke, the thing at Duke, they're going after one and dones, and then
Yep.
they build around them with 5 stars and 4 stars that are committed. Down and I'm already at
Okay.
zero. What happened now? I counted down from six. Okay, but Daddy's on the podcast.
I,
Say hello.
hey,
Hello. Okay,
listen.
so I'll
I
be
gotta
up in like 2 minutes.
I
Yeah.
gotta teach those kids my age. I understand. I but anyway, um, but the fan base. You know how it is. The fan base, the boosters
Yeah,
are gonna be like, when the
but Fitz,
demands of winning.
we're not talking about Providence, right?
I
Where
understand.
Kim English did an incredible job
I
with what
know.
he had, right? But again, those situations are going to be little bit more tumultuous, right? It would be like St. John's getting rid of Patino year 2. That's not going to happen.
No, no.
Patino's going to leave when he wants to leave. Now, what's interesting though is I think Mark Pope at Kentucky
Oh
might be in
boy.
a difficult situation.
Yeah, because how Cal's doing in Arkansas, that makes it even
Correct.
worse.
Correct. See, so it's nuance, but you're right. The switch, the eject button happens a lot quicker than it used to. You're right.
But
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: it's not really the administration and SID and all that for
Oh,
Duke.
it's money now. It's the boosters. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
money, but it's the outside noise that's going to
Oh, for
grow
sure.
stronger
Yes.
because the fan base.
Agreed.
I'm looking on Instagram. The fan base is upset blowing two leads when you're thinking you're going to win two national championships with NBA lottery picks. You're getting
Yep.
Deron Ridley next year, one of the best point guards in the country, and they don't want. If you can't do this again, you do this again now because Coach K had time. He lost a lot, but he had a lot of time. He finally won. It's different now, man.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna get 10 years to win. No,
No,
no, no. So it's like 3 to 5 with the best programs are more established, and then with ones like that are still on the come up, you got like 2 3 years. Like I love my program. I admire and respect Coach Cooley, but he's coming up on year 4,
yeah, this is
and
where I'll transition to. Good point.
yeah, and
Come on
he's
now.
you know I'm sure and again I say this respectfully. I'm sure he's looking at himself, going, I got to get it done. I got
Yeah,
to get it done.
yeah.
That's the bottom line. You got to get it done now. You
And
got to
they
get it
pulled
done.
out in the Big East tournament. That was like, okay. I see signs when the
Yeah.
Big East tournament, but it's just now you got to win now because look at Iowa. Look at all these teams, the young coaches that win right away.
Well, again, whether they win right away, but some of those programs are still more established. But I look at what Shaheen Holloway did, Big East
Oh yeah,
Coach of the Year, what he did at Seton Hall with less, right?
yes.
With like a $2 million, $3 million NIL budget, whatever it is, right? If you got a NIL budget that's top in your conference,
Mm-hmm.
then you should be landing somewhere top in your conference. Simple.
Yeah,
I mean, let's not cloud it with the fact that I love my alma mater.
yeah.
I'm not going to cloud it with that. But listen, man, I got to run. We got to do this real soon. My
Okay,
apologies to
one
any
more thing.
listeners.
One more thing
Yep,
before you go. You
yep,
were talking on the One Field of 68 guy podcast about John Thompson. Y'all played summer games with the alumni, right?
yep.
You guys put. Did you ever go against Allen Iverson? Tell the truth.
No, no. Allen Iverson was 96. I was 84. That was 12 years later. But I will tell you this. I would have loved to have played against Allen Iverson.
Ooh, I thought
Loved.
about y'all when y'all talked
Listen,
about that on Goodman's show.
loved.
Goodman's.
Loved. I'm coming now. I'm coming now.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go.
Look
You did
down
terrific,
here.
though.
Okay.
Down here.
Daddy
Don't
brought it.
forget tonight.
See you later, big guy. Let's go
Daddy,
Hoyas.
good job. Oh, let's go Hoyas. Yes. All
All
right.
right, baby. Peace.
Okay. Peace.
God.